Coming soon to own on
YouTube and Twitch.
The original plot of The Lion King. Now, obviously, everybody knows The Lion King. I wouldn't say it's the best, like of all best. Was it Disney or Pixar movie? It's Pixar, best Pixar movie of all time. But I would say, no, it's Disney. It's Disney. I'll say it's definitely one of the top three of my favorites. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's damn near the best of movie of all time. If you haven't heard of The Lion King at all, there's like 4 iterations of it. There's no way in hell you never heard of The Lion King. But let's get into the original plot of The Lion King. Let's get straight into it.
What if The Lion King was a completely different movie than what you saw? What if there were deleted scenes that would have changed the movie completely? Disney cut a massive amount of content from The Lion King. Songs
Oh, so
were
it is
deleted,
Disney. My
entire
fault.
storylines were scrapped, and scenes that would have drastically changed the movie never made it to the final cut.
I'm not gonna lie. Usually when they talk about the original versions of like Disney movies, they're more darker. But this movie was kind of dark. His own brother he got slimed out by his own brother just to be the head nigga in charge.
And while you might have heard about a few of these, today I've gathered every single deleted concept for The Lion King. And trust me, some of these are absolutely insane and quite dark. From Scar's horrifying original death to an entirely different song replacing Hakuna Matata, these deleted concepts will blow your mind. Now, before
I gotta
we
hear
get
that
into any
song.
specific deleted content for The Lion King, you need to understand, just like any other movie we have talked about on this channel, The Lion King went through extensive rewrites and changes during its production from 1991 to 1994. According to directors Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff, the film was rewritten constantly, with completed animated scenes being scrapped because dialogue had changed. The original concept was actually Bambi in Africa, with
Bambi. Wow.
lions.
I don't know about
now
that.
hold up, it sounds crazy, but there's actually a reason for this. It was to appear more realistic and more like a nature documentary style film. Original
And then when Bambi would have got ate the fuck down by that group of lions, how the hell that was gonna be realistic? But actually, no. Can Bambi? I know like the adult versions can fight off lions.
director George
Not fight
Schreiber
off, but
envisioned
avoid
it this
lions,
way
I
before
think.
leaving the project due to disagreements over Disney's decision to reimagine it as a musical with songs by Elton John and Tim Rice. The film we know today, this Shakespearean epic betrayal and reclaiming your destiny, started as something much simpler and evolved into one of Disney's darkest and most powerful animated films. Perhaps the most shocking deleted content from The Lion King is the film's original ending, which was actually deemed far too terrifying for a family film. In the theatrical version, after Simba defeats Scar and spares his life, Scar is confronted by the hyenas who overheard
eat
him
him?
trying to betray them. The hyenas close in on Scar, and the camera pans away as flames rise, leaving his fate ambiguous but heavily implied. He was mauled to death by his own followers. This is why if you're a villain, you should never go against your henchmen, because they outnumber you. But in the original storyboarding ending, Scar's death was explicitly shown, and was actually quite terrifying. The battle begins similarly, with Simba and Scar fighting atop a burning Pride Rock, while the lionesses battle the hyenas below. During their fight, Scar viciously claws Simba across the face with such force that Simba falls backwards, dangerously close to the edge. Sounds familiar, right? Almost plays out the exact same way. However, with Simba on his back and vulnerable, Scar walks towards him menacingly and gloats.
This is too easy. Why, it's almost as easy as killing your father.
This cruel taunt reveals just how sadistic Scar truly is, which honestly is why Scar is my favorite Disney villain of all time. I mean, that man is a baddie. He literally kills his own
Hold on. I get you got the overly clocky T lingo, but we're not gonna call Scar a baddie. Like he tough, he cold, he not a baddie, he tough.
brother. Insane. Simba manages to kick Scar away and send him tumbling down Pride Rock. Scar weakly sits up at the base of the rock, and Simba looks over the edge. Scar cries for help, begging for mercy. Although Simba is initially willing to let Scar fall to his death, Scar reminds him,
Are you no better than I? You no murderer, Simba.
Scar pretends to admit defeat, telling Simba he's now the rightful king. Simba's kind nature wins out, and he grabs Scar by the mane and pulls him up to safety. But that's when the tables turn. The moment Scar is safe, he grabs Simba's mane, yanks him by the neck, and throws him off Pride Rock into the burning flames below. Simba falls screaming for help, but just before he crashes into the fire, he lands on the burning tree that breaks his fall. The fire surrounds Simba and he has to run for his life, narrowly escaping the flames. Meanwhile, on the top of Pride Rock, Scar believes Simba has fallen to his death. He begins laughing manically in victory, completely consumed by his madness. He believes that he has finally won and that he is the true king. But as Scar laughs, the flames surrounding Pride Rock engulf him. Scar continues laughing even as the fire consumes him, burning him alive on top of Pride Rock. That's right, the original storyboarding showed Scar burning alive while he's laughing.
Here's the thing about like family-friendly animations. It's like obviously that wouldn't have worked. If this was a PG-13 movie, this would have been perfectly fine to air. No problems. But I also do think that ending, like the whole point of the movie, the ending, is technically Simba won, but he didn't really win, But I don't. It's only because it's for like Lion King for like 5-year-olds. Even I don't think that's too crazy.
Crazily. What? Yeah, I would have to say that's quite dark for a family film. The storyboard shows Scar's crazed laughter echoing across the burning wasteland as he's incinerated. Then a rainstorm emerges, putting out the flames. Simba, covered in ashes, finds Sarabi unconscious but unharmed by the fire. They embrace, reunited at last. And before Scar throws Simba to his death, he whispers, "Good night, sweet prince." A direct quote from Shakespeare's Hamlet, the play that heavily influenced the Lion King's plot. Now, before we go into why this was actually deleted, it's kind of crazy to imagine that this was something that was storyboarded. They actually put this in writing and was like, boom, we're doing this. According to the filmmakers, this ending was scrapped because it was far too horrifying and dark for a family film. Showing Scar burning alive while laughing crazily, even in animated storyboard form, crossed a line that Disney wasn't willing to cross. Additionally, the ending felt anticlimactic and made Simba
very much anticlimactic, I would say, because of the whole buildup of Simba getting his get back, and it ends like that, where Scar throws Simba off the cliff, and Scar burns up alive. That's very anticlimactic. I'm just keeping
seem incompetent. Instead of Simba triumphing through his own strength and courage, he essentially survives by luck.
And he never actually grows into the king he's supposed to be like his father was. He just luckily earned it versus actually having which would have also made like his whole arc going into that pointless.
Ending on a tree, while Scar's death happens accidentally through the fire rather than as a consequence of his actions. The final version, where Scar's killed by the hyenas he betrayed, is much more poetic and thematically appropriate. Scar's downfall comes from his own treachery and disloyalty. He's destroyed by the same tactics he used to gain power. It's a fitting end that reinforces the film's themes about the consequences of betrayal. However, there is an Easter egg when it comes to this deleted content, this deleted scene, and it happens in Lion King 2. Simba tells Kovu that
fire is a killer.
And in the Lion Guard TV series, it stated that Scar was burned alive following his defeat. So elements of the original ending were retroactively included in canon events down the line. Very interesting that this all played out the way it did, and that there's still Easter eggs out there alluding to this deleted scene. The Lion King's iconic soundtrack sounded very different. Several songs were written, recorded, and even partially animated before being cut from the final film. One of the most significant
See, it's like that's when it comes with having money, though, because I feel like a smaller studio wouldn't go through this many changes for a song production. Because imagine paying an artist to make a song, and then like they make 3 or 4 songs, and you just delete all of them, and then you gotta pay another artist to do the same. It's like that's a lot of money.
Deleted
just
songs
on deleted
songs
songs.
To Be King, which would have been sung by Mufasa, Zazu, and various Pride Rock land animals.
I just can't wait to be king. It's probably like
rules,
something like that.
while Mufasa teaches young Simba about the responsibilities of kingship. The song was composed by Elton John with lyrics by Tim Rice, and a full recording exists featuring Ken Page performing Mufasa's vocals, since James
Here?
Earl Jones couldn't sing the song satisfactorily. Yeah, apparently Darth Vader is not a great singer. That's part of the reason why they cut this song. Lyrics included Mufasa singing about how being king is a huge obligation, it's not just a license for fun, and Zazu chiming in with comic relief about the perks of royalty. The song features animals across the Pride Land singing about their king, and includes a dramatic sequence where Mufasa calls the alarm, a mighty roar warning his subjects that a giant flood is coming. Now, don't get me wrong, having more scenes with Mufasa would have been legendary. I feel like he is one of the most
Yeah.
iconic Disney characters of all time who also didn't have a lot of time in his own film. Thank you,
100%.
Scar. So it would have been cool to have an extra father-son type of moment in this movie, but there is a reason why it was cut. The primary reason it was deleted was James Earl Jones' singing voice simply didn't suit the material. Like I said
He
before,
couldn't
Darth
sing.
Vader
He
can't
couldn't hang
sing.
around.
Jones had one of the most iconic speaking voices in cinema history, but his vocal range and singing style didn't work for this upbeat, theatrical musical number. When they
He's
brought
more
in
of a
Ken Page to
baritone.
sing instead, it created a jarring disconnect. Audiences would instantly recognize that it wasn't Mufasa's voice breaking the illusion. And more importantly, the song doesn't fit Mufasa's character as established in the final film. Mufasa is wise, regal, and serious, a father figure who teaches through quiet wisdom rather than show-stopping musical numbers. Having him sing and dance with zebras and wildebeest undermines his kingship. The lesson Mufasa teaches Simba about the circle of life works much better as spoken dialogue in the final film. It's intimate, emotional, and carries weight precisely because it's not a song, which makes a lot of sense
True.
because Mufasa is legendary because of James Earl Jones' voice. And if you couldn't utilize that in a song, it works better with him just speaking and telling Simba about the circle of life. I mean, honestly, it works for Disney because Mufasa is one of the most iconic characters ever. The melody from To Be a King was later recycled and used for The Morning Report, which was added to the 2002 IMAX Special Edition release of the movie. But that wasn't the only song that was deleted or changed. The iconic Hakuna Matata was also different. Before Hakuna Matata became
Now I gotta hear the original. There's no way possible the original is better than what actually came out.
one of Disney's most iconic songs, there was Warthog Rhapsody, and it's very
Warthog rap? What the fuck?
different than what we got in the final movie. Warthog Rhapsody was composed by Elton John and Tim Rice and was fully recorded by Nathan Lane, who played Timon, as well as Ernie Sabella, who played Pumbaa. The song was later released on the 1995 album Rhythm of the Pride Lands. The song focuses almost entirely on Pumbaa's laid-back philosophy of life. Timon sings about how Pumbaa is a role model of a life most blissfully led, while Pumbaa describes his daily routine, which consists of getting up when he likes, planning the day ahead, and going right back to bed when inspiration strikes.
Oh, so niggas made a song. They made a song about their real
The song
life.
then transitions into Timon and Pumbaa teaching Simba about their dietary habits, specifically eating bugs.
What's that?
A grub. What's it look like?
Ew, gross.
Warthog Rhapsody was actually replaced by Hakuna Matata for several different reasons. The first one being it's musically inferior. Even fans of the deleted song acknowledge that it lacks energy and momentum. The melody is
I got
repetitive,
it, but you gotta play
formulaic, and the lyrics don't sit well on the tune. It also focuses on the wrong character. Warthog Rhapsody is about Pumbaa's life cycle, not Simba's journey. The song that needed to fill that spot in the film had to
Was
advance
Simba's journey.
character development and show
Yep.
his transformation from traumatized cub to carefree teenager, and as well as pacing issues. Warthog Rhapsody is longer and slower than Hakuna Matata, which would have dragged down the film's momentum at a crucial transition point. However, they did use that same tune and beat in The Lion King 1.5 for the song That's All I Need. So it's interesting that these early concepts, and we found out this with multiple movies we have covered already on this channel, that there's a lot of like early prototype concepts that are used in future.
Now I'm looking back on it. Elton John got paid a crazy bag for a lot of songs that didn't even get put out. That's something only like a big studio like Disney can just throw away money at.
Sequels, just like Inside Out. So it's interesting that even The Lion King years ago had scrapped content that they were like, you know what? We're going to put this in Lion King 2 or Lion King 1.5. And I think that's awesome. Now, this next deleted idea was actually involving one of the most iconic songs in the entire movie, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? It was actually originally supposed to be performed entirely by Timon and Pumbaa, not as the romantic duet between Simba and Nala that we all know. According to Nathan Lane, Timon's voice actor, early versions of the film had Timon and Pumbaa singing the complete song while Simba and Nala had the romantic reunion in the background.
I feel like that would have made it more comedic than actual serious connection between the two characters, between Nala and Simba. It would have made it more like, you know?
But Elton John was not about that vibe. He was absolutely mortified when he found out. This beautiful romantic ballad, one of his finest compositions, was being turned into a comedy number sung by a meerkat and a warthog. Elton John fought to preserve the song's romantic essence, and the final version represents a compromise. Timon and Pumbaa bookend the song with comedic framing, but the heart of the song features Crystal Edwards' off-screen vocals with brief lines from Simba and Nala. This change for the filmmakers was crucial. Can You Feel the Love Tonight won the Academy Award for Best Original Song and became one of Elton John's signature compositions. If it had been performed as pure comedy by Timon and Pumbaa, it might never have achieved the cultural impact it did have. Although
100%.
it is Disney after all, and I do feel like he kind of took it a little bit too serious because
But then again, like I feel like taking it too serious, quote unquote, makes it like, I wouldn't say, obviously makes it stand out, makes it seem more important. But like if you don't take it serious, they won't take you serious, and they'll just brush you off to the side. Like, he took it serious. I want this to be here, and you see how it forced them to make a compromise, and the compromise worked out.
at the end of the day, I think, yes, you might not have won an award for it, but Timon and Pumbaa would have killed that. Just saying. Now get settled, because you're about to hear one of the most controversial deleted scenes in the entire movie. This is one of those scenes where you're like, yeah, that's pretty disturbing. It is a fully recorded scene where Scar attempts to make Nala his queen against her will. This scene appears on the Blu-ray release as storyboards with full dialogue performed by the original voice actors, Jeremy Irons as Scar and Maura Kelly as Nala. The scene takes place during Scar's reign as king, when the Pride lands had become a wasteland. Scar realizes that his reputation among the Pride would improve if he had an heir, so he decides he needs a queen. Scar summons Nala, Simba's childhood friend, who Scar would have known since she was a cub, and tells her that she has been chosen to be his queen.
Yeah, like we could have kept that part out. Thank God. I'm just saying.
What? Robbing the cradle, aren't we there, Scar, buddy old pal? Not gonna lie, hearing this makes me like, how was this even an idea? This is so weird and so Nala is horrified and disgusted, immediately rejecting him.
No.
Nala.
Oh, hell no. Hey, bro, whoever suggested this at Disney, like, hey, this a family-friendly movie, bro. What the fuck you adding this in here for?
You know, you really have no choice. One way or another, I always get what I want.
Ah, come on. Like, this is the establishment of where 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds are gonna be at, and this the type of shit like you had on the bit. You had this like in your mind. Like, nah, that's not it, bro. That's not it. Especially for a PG. It's like, oh my God.
Just hearing that, gross. It's like an old man hitting on like someone. No.
It's like an old man hitting on a girl your age. It's like, oh my God. Just let it go, man. I promise you, there's there's bad women in your age group. I promise you there is. You gotta stop going for the young Jones.
Disney, this was bad. This was so bad, guys. When Nala continues to refuse, Scar threatens to ban her from Pride Rock entirely. The other lionesses express disapproval, which angers Scar further. No does not mean yes. That's all I'm gonna say. This is so weird.
No
this
means
leads
no.
into an alternate, longer version of Be Prepared, where Scar introduces the hyenas as his enforcers and essentially threatens the entire Pride with violence if they don't obey him. The The song goes on much longer than necessary and includes more explicit threats. Nala eventually runs away from Pride Rock entirely, which explains why she leaves to search for help. She's not just seeking food, she's escaping Scar's harassment. Yikes. This is one of the most insane deleted scenes and concepts I think I've seen in a Disney movie.
For a Disney movie, this is awful. This movie was like PG-13. It's still awful. I would say if this was a rated R movie, it'll make sense why she left to go get help. Well, it makes sense before. Well, I mean, without it, it's not. It's a scene that's not needed at all in any version or any rating. But I'm trying to like see like what was their goal with adding that scene? Like, nah.
Like probably even more than the bloopers from Toy Story 2, where the prospector's like talking to the Barbies. That was a weird scene too, don't get me wrong. But this one is like, yikes. This deleted scene is deeply problematic and was cut for multiple reasons.
The minute that shit hit paper, that shit should have been thrown in the trash can. They don't got a nigga that can veto
The
that.
first one obviously being sexual harassment. Scar's dialogue.
You know you really have no choice. One way or another, I always get what I want.
Like, how did this get to a point where, hey, niggas conceptualized the concept of this, niggas wrote dialogue for this, the nigga storyboarded this, and the nigga did voice acting lines. Both him and the girl both did voice acting lines for this scene.
Carries clear connotations of a forced relationship. While Disney has included villain behavior like this in other movies, Gaston pursuing Belle, Jafar trying to marry Jasmine, the power dynamic here is especially disturbing because Scar has known Nala since she was a child. Ew.
Yeah.
Again, ew. The second was the tone. The scene is creepy in a way that goes beyond typical Disney villainy. Scar
That's like realistic old man creep level. That ain't no Disney creep. That's like real life creep.
comes across as predatory rather than
Yeah.
merely evil, which shifts the film's tone uncomfortably. I feel like all of us, if we watch this scene play out in the theater, we all been like looking around being like, is this right? Is this okay to watch? The third was pacing, as is with most deleted concepts. According to the filmmakers, the scene went on for far too long with the extended be prepared steps.
Oh hell no. Niggas trim as
According to
hell.
the
No way in hell I'm sitting in this room. I don't care how trained the lion is. There's no way in the world I'm sitting in a room with a real lion just sitting there moving around while I draw. Fuck no.
filmmakers, the scene went on for far too long with the extended Be Prepared musical sequence. The final film's version of Be Prepared is tight, focused, and ends with Scar's plan to kill Mufasa. This alternate version drags uncomfortably. And the final reason is that it's just quite unnecessary. The final film establishes
Yeah,
Nala's
very much
departure more
unnecessary.
simply. She leaves to find food and help for her starving pride. This
That makes it better, in my opinion. Obviously, them not adding that scene makes it better. You should view that the same way. It makes it better without adding it, but that's how I feel.
motivation is cleaner and doesn't require uncomfortable sexual harassment. Again, ew. That said,
Yeah.
elements of the scene are incorporated into the stage musical in the song The Madness of the King Scar, where Scar's obsession with Nala is addressed more explicitly in a theatrical context where adult themes are more acceptable. Now that we got the biggest baddie out of the way, let's go into more.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It's like that's an adult theme for like more of an adult storyline. So when you try to mix like a family-friendly theme and theme lines with with only one adult like topics, that's a bad mix.
More of the other deleted concepts from the movie. There's a deleted scene from the Platinum Edition DVD showing an entirely different version of the moment when Simba decides to return to Pride Rock after his years in exile with Timon and Pumbaa. In the final film, after Rafiki shows Simba his father's reflection and Mufasa's spirit speaks to him from the clouds, Simba makes the firm decision to return home. He leaves immediately with confidence and purpose, racing across the savannah with Nala by his side. This deleted version, though, plays out very differently and actually features much more conflict between Simba Simba and Nala. After Rafiki's revelation in the deleted scene, Simba is conflicted and lacks the confidence seen in the final film. Instead of eagerly rushing home, he's hesitant and uncertain. When Nala offers to return with him, Simba turns down her help entirely. He tells her he needs to face Scar alone and doesn't want to put her in danger. Simba expresses his love for Nala and claims he's trying to protect her. This creates tension between them. Nala becomes frustrated, essentially saying that Simba is being foolish. She's a lioness who can fight, as proven earlier when she pinned Simba, and turning down help he desperately needs doesn't make sense. Pumbaa delivers a speech to Timon about friendship and standing by those you care about, which prompts Timon to disregard Simba's wishes and follow him anyway. The scene ends with Simba running off alone, while Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa trail behind him despite his protest. It is kind of weird that this scene was deleted because
I feel like that scene wasn't. Yeah, I feel like that scene was just one of those they were on the fence about it and they just deleted it. But I feel like that scene, for once again, it could be added in a Disney movie, but I feel like it's just not a Disney type of not topic, but that's not like a Disney scene they'll make. But that's something they definitely could have added in there.
A lot of main characters in movies do this, right? They always want to
Yeah,
protect the people they love, so they kind of go off and try to
on
fight
their
the
own.
villain by themselves, in the end needing the other people's help to defeat the villain. So it kind of would have been like a stereotypic kind of scene. So maybe that's
Yeah,
also why it was
very stereotypical, but it wouldn't be Disney stereotypical. Well, at the time, trying to think what came out before that, and not a lot.
deleted, but here's the reason why it was cut. This deleted scene was cut because of several problems. It makes Simba less heroic. Instead of confidently
True.
embracing his destiny, he's
Makes him scared.
wishy-washy and makes poor
Makes him view like scared and hesitant of fighting him to the point where he doesn't want to bring people with him because he's afraid he can't protect all these people.
strategic decisions. Also, the logic doesn't work. As established throughout the film, Nala is physically capable and is eager to help her pride. Simba turning her away makes him seem foolish rather than protective. It also undermines the relationship between them. The final film shows Simba and Nala as partners who support each other. This deleted version creates unnecessary conflict that makes the relationship feel more troubled. As well as Timon and Pumbaa's characterization is off. Having Pumbaa convince Timon to disregard Simba's wishes doesn't quite fit right. The duo always stick together, and honestly wouldn't have split up on different sides of a spectrum surrounding Simba's decision. So that would have kind of ruined their relationship. The final version is much stronger. Simba makes his choice, his friends support him immediately, and they race off towards Pride Rock together. But beyond specific deleted scenes and ideas and concepts and songs, The Lion King went through numerous production changes that altered the film's entire story. According to co-director Rob Minkoff and producer Don Hahn, the earliest concept for The Lion King was Bambi in Africa with lions. Original director George Schreiber envisioned the film as a nature documentary style movie, realistic, less animals talking, and a focus on the animals' actual behaviors and the harsh realities of life on the savannah, which honestly would have fit Walt Disney's version back in the day, and that's primarily why this was chosen this way.
I'm trying to think like them not talking. I don't see that being. I can see it's doing good in theaters, but I don't see that being like that doesn't. It sounds good if this was like Nature Geographic Channel, but I don't
Disney
know.
was
I
a
don't know. I don't
huge
like that concept.
advocator of conservation and animal protection. He
I
loved
like that.
animal documentaries, and I feel like that's also why this was one of the original ideas for this movie, just
Yeah.
animated. This version would have been less theatrical, with no Broadway-style musical numbers and a more subdued emotional tone. Think of Planet Earth, just animated. Schreiber left the project when Disney
Mm.
executives decided to transform it into a full musical number. Rob Minkoff replaced him.
Yeah. Imagine you leave the team, they replace you, and that shit get like top of the charts. It's like damn.
As co-director in April 1992, and the film's tone shifted dramatically toward the epic Shakespearean musical we know today. According to animator Andreas Deja, completed scenes were completely being redone because the script kept changing. Screenwriters Irene Mekchi and Jonathan Roberts would deliver revised dialogue, and animators would find out that entire sequences they spent weeks perfecting needed to be scrapped and redone. Lyricist Tim Rice flew to California at least once a month throughout production because the songs had to be integrated into the narrative, and every script change affected the musical numbers. This constant revision caused The Lion King to miss its original Thanksgiving 1993 release date. The Nightmare Before Christmas took that slot instead, and The Lion King was pushed to summer 1994. Producer
Shout out to Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a good movie.
Don Hahn said they released it in summer with much consideration because people said you can't release animation in the summertime. Conventional
Why is
wisdom
that?
said that animated films could only succeed during holiday periods. The Lion King proved that wrong, becoming a massive
About to say, obviously that's not true anymore. The Spider-Man movie.
and it is the point in like the push of animated movies, right? We get a bunch of
Yeah.
summer blockbuster animated movies now, including the holiday releases. So The Lion
Yep.
King pretty much broke the norm.
But why was that a thing in the first place where you only really get good views when you drop it on a holiday? Like I get like people are off, but I guess that's why they drop movies on Fridays and Saturdays, but still,
and
I
allow
don't get
animated
it.
movies to find a new release date. More than 600 artists, animators, and technicians contributed to The Lion King, making it one of Disney's most ambitious productions at the time. Nearly 20 minutes of the film, including the entire I Just Can't Wait to Be King sequence, was animated at the Disney MGM Studios facility in Florida rather than the main California studio. The famous wildebeest stampede that kills Mufasa was one of the most technically complex sequences Disney had ever attempted. It combined traditional hand-drawn animation with groundbreaking computer animation for the herd of the wildebeest. 6 months before the film's release, the 1994 Northridge earthquake shut down Disney's California studio, forcing animators to complete their work remotely from home. Something virtually unheard of in
Oh,
1994.
wow.
Long before remote work was a commonplace. So they also had to be able to piece all this remote work together to complete this final film. The Lion King was released on June 24th, 1994 and became a phenomenon. It earned $968.5 million worldwide,
Almost $1 billion.
which is over $2 billion adjusted for today's inflation. Won 2
Ooh,
Academy
2
Awards for Best
bill?
Original Score and Best Original Song, and became the highest grossing traditionally animated film in history.
Imagine walking away from a movie and then they replace you and the shit earns $2 billion in profit and 2 awards and is named one of the best animated projects in history. Oh my
Which means the
God.
content they decided to delete just made sense because it actually became one of the best animated movies of all time. So there you have it, every deleted concept,
That was the original plot of Lion King. I feel like a lot of the scenes they deleted wasn't that bad besides that one scene with Scar and Nyla. That one definitely should never even made it to the storyboard phase in the first place. But you know, with that being said, let me know how y'all feel with that. I'll see y'all later, though.
You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my bones when I am free. You can't control my heart. Bones when I am free. You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my bones when I am free. You can't control my heart. Bones when I am free. You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my